of the voting. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. So with that, I think because I can see that there's a lot of questions around the leaders of the other political parties. I'm going to get Comrade Colleen Makubela to just do an intro on their behalf, so that you get a sense, and then we can move on to responding to that. I just want to deal with this because I can see you guys are interested to know why they're here as well.
Thank you so much, Comrade Lela, and I want to greet our father. Thank you for being a father to all of us, and the MK leadership for enabling us and allowing us the opportunity to stand here. We are truly grateful. I'm standing here on behalf of 20 political parties, and I'm going to name them. I will ask our leader in this regard to come and articulate why we are here. We are building on the foundation that has already been laid by MK Party in terms of the issues of grievances that all of us have experienced. We are not standing here as sole losers. We are standing here as parties that want to see a free, fair, and credible election. And the issues that have been articulated by the MK Party are real. They have affected all of us. And we have found a father in Ubaba, former president, who has listened to our grievances. And he said, Bantwana bami, come and articulate them before South Africa and before the world, so that whatever the outcomes of this process that you will hear will be, it would have done justice to all of us. This father understands what it means to suffer injustice that is made to look like you are systematically wrong, but the system has been engineered to deal with you. And he has understood 20 parties that I'm going to list, and then I hand over to President Sam Kennedy, who will then articulate our position. I'm representing ACC, President is behind me, ACP, ACT ACT, ACDP, SAN, COPE, UDM, Shiluva, AADP, PA, Patriotic Alliance, CIASA, of which President Sam Kennedy is going to be talking now, PMC, AHC, AMC, ARA, UAT, AM4C, APC, Al-Jama, SARA, of which I'm the president of SARA, Colleen Makubele. MK is already sitting here with us. UIM, SACO, ATM, and OHM. On that note, I'll ask President Sam Kennedy to come and articulate the position of these parties that I've just listed. Thank you.
Thanks, colleagues. Thanks, friends, fellow South Africans. Quickly, we had a PLC meeting this morning, of which the PLC is the National Liaison Communication, another word is committee, between political parties and the institution called the I. That discussion was quite robust. And the CEO had to leave, so the meeting was adjourned. Well, it wasn't adjourned, the meeting was left in limbo. And because the meeting was left in limbo, political parties had a mandate from their own constituencies. How do we go forward? What are the issues? And after quite a bit of consultation, which took us most of the day, prior to our mandate consultation, or consultative mandate, the IEC had a briefing this afternoon of which you were present. And in that consultative press briefing, well, it wasn't consultative because I don't think you were given opportunity to even ask questions. But they raised a few points that we had raised vis-a-vis, one, that they spoke about a possibility of a recount. Phecelezi, they conceded that there are issues, if you look at it from a different perspective. And two, they granted what is deemed to be an extension to the condemnation. Phecelezi, siyanikeza isikhathi until 6, utshelwa ngo-4, which becomes an issue, leaves people in limbo because the gravity of the problem is quite severe. You've heard MK raising serious problems. So we sat and we put together what we felt was our plan, because we need to respond. Whether you got 1,000 votes, they're South Africans. Whether you got 50,000 votes, they're also South Africans. We have a moral, constitutional obligation to respond on behalf of the people who voted for all these parties here. The issue of voting is nothing to do at this juncture with winners and losers. The issue is to do with what is right. And so we took the appropriate action. And you'll get a copy of this letter. It's as follows. And it's been sent to Simon Mabolo. It was sent to him probably 1.5 hours ago. It says, "Dear Sir, 2024 national and provincial election. The above refers. We act for and on behalf of the following political parties as articulated by Colleen Makubele, my colleague who's the president of SARA. 2, we have been instructed by our clients to direct the following correspondence to your office pursuant to the national PLC meeting held at Gallagher Estate on the even date." Abangezwa, meeting eyabanjwa ekuseni. For to see it clear, so there's no misunderstanding. Further, the press announcement of the IEC earlier today with regards to the condonation meaning you had to have your objections in last night. They agreed to give us an extension until 6 o'clock today. The press announcement of the IEC with regards to the condonation time frame is deemed to be insufficient, unacceptable, and as a result of that, an extension to the condonation is therefore requested and required until they have until 22 hours 30 namhlanje to respond. For parties to prepare and submit the voluminous of all the problems that have been identified, observed, witnessed, experienced during this 2024 national, provincial, and this new word called regional. The onus of our client's objections, a very short letter, through you, Chair. The crux of our client's objections and grievances are as a result of widespread systemic irregularities and discrepancies for which our clients are, at the very least, they have prima facie evidence. Prima facie evidence at their disposal. Irregularities and discrepancies have breached our clients' constitutional rights to a free and fair election. Our clients are of the view, very strong view, that it is appropriate and reasonable to 1, extend the time frame for the condemnation so that we are able to submit the requisite issues that have been experienced at voting stations, voting districts, and so forth. And further, this should not exclude major supplementary submissions. In other words, there may be submissions which are overly voluminous, that may take time. For example, one of the leaders, who you'll all know, Ace Magashule, has got all the districts in the Free State which have got serious problems of irregularities. So that requires time. Hence we're saying should not be limited to supplementary submissions. 2, defer you need to listen to this very clearly. Saying defer the declaration announcement. In other words, the announcement yabo yakusasa ayimiswe, must be deferred pending the conclusion of the matter and the outcome of all submissions lodged. In closing, our clients strongly disagree with the pronouncement of the limited recount provision made by you today. Well, you never had a chance to respond, but I'll tell you what he said. The chairperson said that there may be some recounts, which sounds very much autocratic or authoritarian. We are saying, look at all, don't look at one and then whitewash the process. The myriad irregularities identified, and we use a very nice word called myriad because we don't even know how many there are. I think they're indefinite. The myriad irregularities identified by our clients indicate that there are more serious, widespread, systemic deficiencies in the internal processes of the IEC, which justify the remedial action that our clients urgently seek. In this regard, should the IEC not respond, you need to listen to this very clearly. So in this regard, should the IEC not respond reasonably in the circumstances, our clients will have no choice but to consider all legal options. Pekelezi, we will institute urgent relief in terms of the appropriate rights accorded to us in terms of the law to ensure that there's no declaration made. Because once they make a declaration, it becomes difficult to reverse that. So when we say this is an ultimatum, let me just say in closing for my brother, there's 22 parties, but with an additional 4, there are 26 parties which represent 50% of what is on the ballot paper. That is serious business. We've been compromised and it needs to be dealt with. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Contests are being painted as a violent party. Our rallies in young children, grannies, very peaceful rallies. So to try and paint us with a brush of violence and make it seem as if we are a leadership that or an organization that represents such is a total misconception, and we condemn that. We've never heard anyone mention the fact that we've had close to 12 murdered members of ours. You media don't cover it. You don't mention people who want to see change and who want to associate themselves with the party being murdered. You never report on that. You never report on the fact that, by the way, just last night, we lost 2 members who were murdered. But yet you want to paint us with a brush of violence. What narrative are you trying to drive? That's why I'm saying it's also important that my colleagues, yourself as the media, when we report, we need to report responsibly. President Zuma has never ever uttered words of violence. The characteristics of this party are that of a person that is leading us, in the form of President Zuma. None of you have ever even heard President Zuma raise his voice. He's a selfless, peace-loving man. So what are you saying about South Africans that are supporting Mkhonto season, that voted for Mkhonto season, even those whose votes were not counted? What are you saying about this? So that this narrative of violence must come to an end. We need to respond and report positively. We need to instill confidence in this society of ours. There was another question, Comrade Muzi. There was a question around the till splits. I think just give them an example. They want to get some insight in that.